Well, hello and welcome to my YouTube channel from the West Highland Way. So join me and let's see where this journey takes us. Alright, so I'm having a wee bit of fun. I am on a wee bit of the West Highland Way, but I just thought I'd get out the house, because do you not feel sometimes that you haven't been out, and when you drive past certain locations at the roadside, it just glances and catches your eye. Every time you go past, you often wonder. This is one of those locations. So this is a stone built railway bridge, and it's off the A85 on just outside Cranelarich on the way to Tyndrum and Glencoe. And that's caught my eye loads of times, and I thought, do you know what, why don't I go down and look? There's a nice wee waterfall, so we might even get quite a nice shot there of the falls. The sun's up on my right hand side, so I'm going to have to try and have a wee recce. Right, I'm going to have a wee recce. Right, I've just come under the bridge, as you'll see. It's pretty cool actually. There's not much else up the burn. There's a lot of growth, but I'm right above, I'll just watch my foot in here, but I'm right above that little waterfall. So what I'll try and do is get myself down the bottom and see if I can get at the kind of burn level, and then let's see what kind of images we can get. Alright, so I'm down at the water's edge. Quite a lot of debris here with fallen branches and bushes, but the real jewel of the crown's over there. Some nice light hitting that branch as well. Oh, there is a top waterfall further back. Right, I'll tell you what I'll do is I've got my wellies on, so I'm going to work my way closer and let's see if we can get a composition where there's no obstructions with those branches. Alright, so I had a wee bit of clearing of debris, so I just put all those branches that were lying there over on the right hand side there. But honestly, the composition I've got here is I've got the water coming down for the top right into the basin here in front of me. We've got the rock as foreground interest, and then we've got the water coming through the view. I've got my polarizer on because that helps take the sheen off the water. I'm shooting at f8, I've got a quarter of a second, and I've got ISO 100 because it's quite intimate in the sense that it's not a lot of water, so I don't need to use a lot of slow shutter speeds, but I've got it fast enough that we're going to have streaks coming through the water. Plus I'm going to take best use at getting the light that's just touching some of these branches that are stretching out and some of the ferns up on the right hand side. So I'm going to take 2 or 3 different images from here, and I might turn the camera over and do a portrait shot as well. And then when I'm finished, I'll share these images from this location with you now, and then I'm going to move further forward. Right, so I've come in a wee bit closer. I've dropped my camera a wee bit lower, and what I'll do is I'll just share with you the composition. So I've got more water in front of my composition now, and I'm tracking the water from the falls, round the rock, over this little cascade, and then out through my viewer. I'm also getting dripped on. So I'll take a landscape, I'll take a portrait, and then I'll share these images with you now. I moved up a wee bit further forward now, so I've got the whole basin right in front of me. So I've got the rock immediately on my bottom left, and I've got the falls coming down. We've got this really nice stick going up, and then we've got this stick here, and then we've got the rock that's been lit up by the sun. So they are absolutely playing havoc with my highlights. So I'm trying to keep my shutter speed at the same speed, just to make sure that I've got the same consistency of the water all the way through my images, which means then, and I'm keeping my ISO down at 100. So the only setting I've got to play with is my f-stop. So what I'm doing is I'm now shooting at f14 just to get a darker image, just to make sure that I don't burn out those highlights on the tree and on the rock. And then we've got a nice new light above the rock, above the falls. So I'm going to do some portraits, I'm going to do some landscapes, and I'll share these images with you now. Oh, right, I'm just watching my footing because I'm in quite a deep spot here. Let me share. So the composition I've got is I've got the tree trunk coming all the way down into the bottom of my viewer. We've got that highlighted branch sticking down. We've got the highlights over here on the rocks. We've got these beautiful ferns, and then we've got the waterfall coming down. Honestly, the way the light is shining on it, and we've got the light on the top of this rock up here, it's absolutely stunning. So I am shooting again, and I'm just trying to make sure I minimise these highlights as much as I possibly can. So when I finish taking these compositions, I'll share these images with you now. I'm going to share with you the composition I've got here. So I've got the waterfall coming down, I've kept this tree in my frame, and then I've got this highlighted branch with the ferns over here, and I've got a bit of the forest trees along the top, and then I'm going to do a wider shot and incorporate the basin in my image. So because I'm so close, I'm having to take two shots. So I'm taking a shot at f14, and then I'm having to up my f-stop to f20, and that'll hopefully allow me to use the ferns from the f20 shot so that they don't blow out the highlights like they would probably be in the f14 shot. If I'm lucky, then great, but if not, this is a good backup just in case I need it. Anyway, I'm going to take 2 or 3 separate images here, and I'll share these images with you now. Right, it's probably good knowing when to stop. Right, I'm going to try and work my way back up. That's the small bridge that I walked across. There's an interesting wee tunnel there underneath the road. However, there's a big metal wire right across. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to head back up to the car, and we'll go and find another location. Right, my next stop is not far from underneath the Buckle. How many nights do you come to Glencoe and there's no cloud? Honestly. So there's going to be very little sunsets tonight because there's no clouds. But what I'm doing is I'm just walking safely along the edge of the road here. But I'm walking behind the barriers because another wee location that I spotted off. I've been spotting for weeks and weeks, especially when after the rain that wee set of falls over there filled up with water. However, I'm going to show you this. This bridge must be Debris City, so it must be all the camper van and motorhome wing mirrors that keep getting battered, because it's quite a narrow bridge. So there's a lot of debris there. Right, look at this. That is absolutely lovely. And then you've got the Glencoe ski centre up on the top. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk my way up and just have a wee nosy. I'm going to suss it out first, and then when I'm ready I'll pick an area where we're going to start to photograph. Alright, so I've come up to kind of close to the base of those falls. As you can see, the burn flows all the way down over the bridge, and then the next destination there is the King's House Hotel. So what I'll do, I'm just going to walk up and just see what the landscape looks like up here. I've got quite a nice shot here actually, because when I was passing that rock and there's some heather. Right, I'm going to try that. I'm going to see if I can get down low enough, use the heather as foreground, and then see if I can get the falls in the background. If that works, I'll share that image with you now. Right, so I've got a cracking wee composition here. So as I come right up the stream, we've got this kind of V in those rocks, and then we've got that cascade of water coming down. Now, I'm standing here, you can see my shadow, but I've kept my camera further back because my shadow of the camera is just down here at the bottom. So I'm going to shoot through the rocks to try and capture that scene. And then what I'll do is I'll move over to the left and see if we've got a composition shooting up the way. And failing that, I can go behind me and then stand there. I'm just being really conscious that where I cast my shadow. Right, I'm going to take 2 or 3 images here. I'll do a wide shot, I'll do a medium shot, and then I'll do a zoom in shot. And when I've finished, I'll share these with you now. Right, I've taken my bag off because this is really slippy here. I have a composition here which I will show you. So I've got that waterfall on the right hand side, I've got that wee fall coming in on the left. I put my camera really low so it looks as though we've got a low down shot through the water and skimming up the water. So what I'll do is I've taken my bag off because the extra weight and the slippiness, it's quite hard to juggle in this area. I'm going to look for a couple of different compositions. I'm conscious now the sun where I am is right behind my back. So the higher I go, the more I'll cast the shadow. So I'm putting on a 10-second shutter and then trying to bolt out the way. Anyway, I'll take a 2 or 3 shots here and let's see how these turn out, and I'll share them with you now. Right, so my light here is really harsh. I've raised the camera because I wanted to make sure I had separation between this rock and then the rocks in the background, and I wanted to have that gap in the water so you could actually watch the water flow through, and then that peak's pointing that way, so from a flow we've got a flow going that direction and that rock's pointing that direction. And then we've got the water coming down, passing in front of me at the bottom of the scene. That's the theory. So my light is really harsh because the sun is really strong. So I'm now up at f20 at 1/4 of a second because I'm trying to slow it down. I might have to put on some ND filters just so that I can reduce my f-stop, but I'll try this. As long as I don't get highlights, it should be okay. I'll take these shots and I'll share these with you now. Right, I've come over to the other side. You won't be able to make much out on the back of that screen. However, this is my composition. It's an absolute cracker. And the good thing is the sun's on the far right here. So I've got the top of the waterfalls, I've got the blue sky, I've got the mountains, I've got the water flowing down to the left, coming out, and then it's coming into this wee rock pool. So what I'm going to have to do is just change my lens. I'll take a couple of shots. I'm using the 20-40-70 at the moment, and I'll use that for some portrait shots. But I'm going to put the wide angle lens on because I'm going to add an ND64 filter, because what I want to try and do is take two shots. I'll take a shot where I've got the streakiness in these falls, and then I want that long exposure piece to see if these bubbles will give me a smooth pattern in the base. That's the plan, and here's the images. Right, so I hope you like those two blends of images with a long shutter speed with the swirls and then the faster shutter speed with the flow of the water coming down. I've got a nice wee composition here. I've still got the wide angle lens on, but I'm going in a wee bit closer because I want the water to come right down below the camera, and I want to get the texture of the rocks because there's quite a lot of wet algae spread across the rocks, and we've got a nice flow and a nice composition. So I take 2 or 3 shots. I might do a portrait as well, just to see how that works out. And then I'm going to see if I can get a wee bit closer and then try and shoot up the falls. I'm not going to film it because there's a lot of wet moss and it's slippy. So when I'm finished, I'll share these images with you now. Before I finished the video, as I got back to the car, I got a really nice surprise where these stags, a young stag and 2 older stags, were right across the road from the car. So I hope you enjoy these images. Alright, I'm not going to push my luck too far tonight. I've had 2 great locations. The weather has been outstanding, and I hope the images have turned out. So I'm going to finish the video here. So if you like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you know it's free. And if you press the bell notification, that will let you know the next time I post a video. So thanks very much for watching, and here's to the next video.